There she goes. She's wearing a pinafore.
It's called apron pinafore. It
Ah.
just does the thing, could protect your clothes.
Aha.
And it's a handy dandy apron and mouth wipe and all that.
Ah, how cool.
I'm liking this time of year. I can break out all my fun stuff.
Oh. Anywho's, well.
And my hair's doing what my hair does.
It's not bad today. It's at that awkward length, my dear.
Maybe it's time I shave my head again.
No, you're not. I shave my head, though, because, you see, here's the thing. Because I'm an old fart, and all I have is a protruding hairline. But I still got hair up top where it counts. So anyway, it was my great privilege to go vote yesterday.
Yay.
And, it's tough. I mean, it was tough for me. Because I am like, okay, if Trump supports abortion, that was almost a deal breaker. I really had to do some soul searching. But you have to understand, you can't be a one topic voter. You really can't. This is way too important, all right? Look, if you're voting for the Democrat side because you've always voted for Democrat, it's hard for people to admit they're wrong. I think that's what the problem is. It really is. TV is entertaining, all right? TV lies to you, okay? I mean, it's really tough. If you're a Democrat and you're voting Democrat, you might be the sweetest little old lady. You might be a very nice person. But you're voting for child mutilation, child murder. You're voting for pedophiles to get away scot-free. You're voting for teachers to bring sex into the school. You're voting for an open border. You're voting for rape. You're voting for child sex trafficking. These are all things that the Democratic Party brings to the table. And the mainstream media conveniently decides not to tell you. And if there's a news source out there that talks about these things, the people that are giving you the misinformation label it as misinformation. This is Marxism. This is how it works.
And you really have to remember that one of the things that the like he was saying, the Democrats want to do is not just the abortion, all of these things, okay? They want to silence the other side.
Correct.
So at this point, they're both baby killers.
Absolutely.
Okay? They're both baby killers. There's no doubt about that. They're both morally reprehensible. But the one difference between one and the other is that the one party will allow for us to continue the fight for the unborn.
Right.
Okay? We will have still freedom of speech and the freedom to protect that freedom of speech. Okay, with the Second Amendment. Those are two crucial things that we have to fight for, and even though we don't have the ability,
It's a simple equation, all right? The Democrats are importing voters. And if you can't see this, Jesus, you're a special kind of fool, all right? Why are they importing voters? Well, because our women don't want to have children anymore, all right? It's really crazy now, the things that I'm hearing. The fact of the matter is, if you're a 30-year-old woman right now and you all of a sudden have woke up and you're like, I want to have a husband and I want to have a family, you're more than likely going to have to share a man. It's just what's happening now. Polygamy seems to be coming back.
Thank you.
When you destroy your morals, okay? I mean, and women you're like on a self-destructive path. It's not only bad enough that you're murdering your own children, now you're allowing perverts into women's spaces and women's locker rooms. These are men, okay? And you're allowing them in and you're not fighting. So now your children are having to fight a fight that they shouldn't have had to fight. Women have let their own girls down. This is just like this woke culture. It was I saw Barack Obama. It was really funny. He's like, we are so divided. How did this happen? Well, Barack, you did this. What had happened was you lost the midterm election, which was normal. Usually the first president that gets elected, all right, Democrat, Republican, it does not matter. Midterm election, if they have the House and the Senate, they lose seats. He took that personally and he went after the woke culture. All right. He brought it to the front page and he gave it recognition that it shouldn't have had. Now, what we have is pedophile teachers, and just read the real news. Stay away from the mainstream media. Okay. We have states out there that think it's perfectly okay to mutilate children without their parents' knowledge. This is vile and disgusting. If you're a child, you cannot get a tattoo until you're 18 years old. Okay, trust me, I know this. You can't open a bank account without an adult supervision.
You can't get your GED until
Yeah,
you're 18. You can't
right.
drink until you're 21. You can't buy cigarettes until you're 18.
Right.
But you're allowed to make physical changes in your body that would not only affect your entire life, but they might damage any ability to have children in the future.
Sex of any kind needs to be out of the schools. Look, I don't want to single anybody out, but there's this one star that adopted 3 children, 3 boys, and turned them into girls. Okay? All three of them. This is sick. This is a disgusting behavior. All right? And no. If you're voting Democrat, you have to understand you're voting for this. This is what the left is. Just because you don't understand it, it's just like people back the blue. Yeah, I was raised to back the blue. But you know what the problem with the blue is anymore? No. They're confrontational. Nothing good happens to anyone that talks to a police officer because they're looking to make an arrest. And they're going to push, they're willing to violate your civil rights. All right? They're willing to do that. Okay? Yeah, they don't care about your rights. They're going to arrest you. Now, when you get down to the police station, they might or might not just kick you loose. But yeah, and teachers used to be a sacred entity. Not anymore. They brought sex into grade schools. The books that are there are filthy. And if you're voting Democrat, you're voting for this.
Yes.
And I know you're conditioned. Trump sucky sucks. I get it. But, you're going to have to live with the decisions you've made. Our next generation, I have 3 wonderful sons, and the most magnificent daughter anyone has ever seen is hard work. Okay? I want my children to have the same rights I had. I don't want sex traffickers and pedophiles polluting their minds. Okay? No. There is no place in grade school, middle school, even high school for sex. It should not be discussed. If a student knows if you're a Democrat or a Republican, you're failing. If a Democrat knows, or sorry, but if a school child knows your sexual identity, you're a pedophile. And look, the churches are letting us down these days.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah.
It's terrifying. Look, you need to go vote.
Yes.
And in all honesty, like my husband said the other day, nobody has. There you go. That's the
sticker they gave me when I voted.
No, my husband said, no one has their mind without being made up yet.
Right. Okay? Yeah, you're made up.
You probably already have your mind made up whether you're going to vote, not vote, or you're going to vote for whoever it is. But in the very unlikely chance that you have your mind open,
yeah,
think about it. You want to vote? They're both they're both baby murderers.
Yeah, they both are really. Yeah. At this point,
except that one of them protects your freedom of care. What is it? What is it? The Second Amendment.
The First and the Second Amendment. The First Amendment is the right of freedom of speech, and the Second Amendment is your right to have a gun to defend your First Amendment. And look, I'm just, it's insanity. Everybody that lives in a city hates America, it seems like. You ask most Democrats, they hate America. But America is so great. This is the one country where people live and say, people that hate America won't leave. All right? Just like all these stars, right?
If Trump gets elected, I'm leaving. They're still here.
In a perfect world, all these mega stars that frequented Epstein Island, okay, and we know some of them. We've got it, right? And this P. Diddy thing, all right? These people are pedophiles. And guess what? They're all jumping on the Kamala Harris bandwagon right now. We have to stop this. This is sick perversion. And this comes from the Democrat side. I'm not saying there's Republicans out there that ain't equally as nasty, but I'm saying not as many. But,
here's the thing. If you're going to vote Democrat because this is the party you vote for, because you think that they are the on the side of angels, so to speak, and you've done this all your life and you have been listening to everything, you really should pay attention to who's voting along with you. Who is the people that have the biggest microphones out there voting for the Democrat? And that should dissuade you. If you're a moral human being, it should dissuade you from voting Democrat.
Yeah.
But people have been indoctrinated so badly, and it's not just let me tell you, friends, okay, when we started studying the Bible, my husband grew up in the church. I didn't. I grew up as a Catholic person, which one thing that the Catholics do is that we don't read the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
We go to church and have the priest tell us what we need to think. Okay. Now, when I read the Bible for the first time, I had no preconceived notions of what it was supposed to say. It's just that it was God's name. There was a thing about a flood there, and Adam and Eve, and Jesus is there somehow. But I didn't know who Jesus was necessarily, all of that. I know he was crucified. Very basic stuff that you can learn by just being alive in the world. Okay, here's the thing. The book is not what people in the churches say it is.
It's not.
Okay?
It's such a wonderful.
It's the existence of the Bible in and of itself is a miracle. Okay? But what I want to tell you is, friend, if you have never read your Bible all the way through, okay? If you have been going to the churches and having your pastor, your teacher, your preacher, your priest interpret scripture for you, okay? Bless you.
Good, man.
Interpret scripture for you. You have been indoctrinated. You think that the only people that can be indoctrinated are the liberals, the people that go to the schools and all the kids and all that. People in the churches are being indoctrinated as well. And so now you have a bunch of people that think that they can sit out this election.
Right.
Because Jesus is coming. And literally believe that the worse this world gets, the better for everybody else, because Jesus is coming that much faster. What if I told you you've been lied to and Jesus is really not coming back? So,
here's the whole thing.
Indoctrination.
Everything we've said is absolutely the God's honest truth. Okay. You might not like the message. You might not be able to understand the message. And more than likely, you won't be able to accept the message. Because it's just like
the Democrats.
Yeah, it's like October 7th, right? And all these college kids out there protesting. These were rapists and murderers, okay? They did awful things that day. Nothing can justify putting your support to that. They sacrificed thousands and thousands of their own people. No, they did this, okay? They did it. They could have gave the hostages back and surrendered at any time, okay? And their people wouldn't have died. Their city wouldn't have been bombed to rubble. But they're like children. And it's just like a Democratic voter. You're like a child. But how can you, I mean, everything you're complaining about comes from the Democrat side. I know the media says, the conservatives and Christians sucky suck. I assure you, we do not. I have human compassion for everybody. I truly like everybody, and I understand if you're voting Democrat, it's only because you've been brainwashed at this point.
Yeah.
Because a good moral person can't vote Democrat. You can't.
No.
Unless your mind has been turned, unless you have been brainwashed. And when I feel, oh my gosh, you feel, huh? Well, I know. I mean, here's what happened, right? But they have turned the government into lawfare. They broke the unwritten rule, okay? They went after a sitting president for nothing. That's treason, okay? These people committed treason. They convinced you that Trump sucky sucked, then they committed treason in front of your eyes, and you did not care. We had a coup. No one voted for Kamala Harris, yet here she is running for president. We had a coup right in front of your eyes. Look the definition of that up. And no one cares. All right? This is how Marxism works. But go vote. Vote your conscience. If you believe all of these things that I'm telling you, and look, all you have to do is look them up online. Okay? And Hunter Biden's laptop, there's filthy things on there. All right? If you believe that the DOJ and the FBI are good people, you are sadly mistaken. Yeah. All right? But you're voting to put women in a burqa, okay? You're voting for women to become a piece of property, and that's an absolute fact, okay? You can do some research online and you can find out Islam is not a good thing, all right? But you are voting to become a piece of property, and your abortion rights that you're worried about, well, you're not going to have them.
Here's a parallel, okay,
yeah.
friends? Not everybody that is an Islamic believer, okay, that has the religion of Islam, is a terrible human being, okay?
Not everybody.
Just
nope.
like not everybody that's a Christian is a good human being, okay? Now watch.
The violent sects of everything, the violent sectors of everything.
Yes, there's
always take control.
Take control of it. Like for instance, the message of the Bible is of love and compassion, mercy for everybody, and the salvation of every soul in the world, not just the Christians. Okay, but you have the indoctrinating believers that want to make sure that you believe that only a few will be saved and only a few people will have salvation and all that, and that makes you an elitist, prideful, arrogant Christian. But you cannot judge the religion because of those people. The same way with Islam. There are some really good people and they're righteous people in Islam that live their life according to what they think is right. Now, you can't blame them for everybody else's decisions, but here's the problem. We judge each sector of life according to what the worst of their people do and say.
Right.
So,
but
you need to wake up to the fact that the people of the Islam that are good, loving, kind people are not the ones screaming for blood. These are not and the ones that have dominate the message are the ones that are screaming for blood, and they will take it.
But look, the books that they have put in our grade schools, okay, are so filthy. They are animated cartoon books of gay sex, lesbian sex, and I mean they show everything. The text in these books are so filthy that it can't be read in public. They will shut your microphone off because it's so disgusting.
Yeah.
And you still think teachers are good people? You do, okay? Because it's filthy. I mean, this is nasty, and it has to stop. Child mutilation, murdering babies in the womb. What kind of a woman would think that it was her right to murder her own child? I believe, all right, I'm going to tell you right now, it doesn't matter about this vote because the Democrats will cheat. They've been in power for 28 years, okay, and they're not going to give it up. All right. And so this election is probably, you know, what's going to happen is what's going to happen. I pray to God I'm wrong, and God knows I've been wrong a lot. Okay, but they control the FBI, they control the DOJ. These people are disgusting. If a Democrat is accused of a crime, they won't investigate. But if a Republican is, they will investigate. All right. So how do you do that, right? When you can convict a man, and the jury instructions were simple. If you believe, even if the evidence did not convince you that he committed this crime beyond a reasonable doubt, if you feel he's guilty, you can vote guilty. And that's exactly what they did. It's insane, right? So it's you got to vote your conscience. I guess I'm more skeptical than my wife. I believe humanity, we're done for. All right, and we're done for because we've raised ignorant children that that can't. It's not bad enough they believe these things. It's like if you hear the truth or another opinion, they get violent. And proof is in the pudding. Look what happened after 2020. The violence that came from the left. Antifa, Black Lives Matter. No, this is the left. That was sheer violence. They murdered police officers, okay? Now, regardless what you think about January 6th, it was one day. And they didn't kill anybody, and they didn't burn anything down, okay? Not like the left. But anyway, I guess I've had my say on this. We'll just see what happens. But nothing good can come from electing Kamala Harris. I believe her to be an idiot. She has no plan. At one rally, a guy said, Christ is king. She says, you're at the wrong rally, right? Then the very next day, she goes to a church and pretends to be a Christian. To me,
and here's the thing.
yeah.
Here's the thing. They play their game
They
really
do.
good. Now watch. She went to a church. Okay? Churches supposedly are not allowed to endorse any political
Right.
thing because they will lose their 501 status.
But it's okay.
But it's okay for those black churches.
Okay for Democrats.
It's okay for them, not for us. How about you put on your big boy Christian pants on, and then when you stand on the pulpit and tell people, this is what I think you should do. You do vote your conscience, but you should at least address the issues of the day. Otherwise, get off the pulpit and leave the job to a woman.
A shepherd? yeah, I don't care. If a shepherd needs to lead, okay? I am so tired of weak men in the church. I am so tired of weak men in this world. And here's one, okay? Toxic masculinity is a retarded phrase invented by women who absolutely don't like men that aren't toxic, so to speak. It's not toxic masculinity, it's masculinity. Either you're a man or you're a sissy. All right. And that's it. Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm not saying you sissies don't have some manly traits, but any man that would let a woman murder his child is a sissy.
Yeah. And it starts with protecting yourself.
Yeah.
Don't be a man whore. Okay. Don't be a man whore, and you won't have to worry about some woman killing your child. All right?
Yeah.
Protect your own virginity. Tell your sons that. Protect your own virginity as much as you protect the one of the girls.
They're
both important.
You hook up girls out there. I got to tell you, I respect prostitutes more than I respect you, and I'll tell you why. At least they're honest about it. But you're going to lay down. You're going to lay down with a man that buys you a few drinks. That's it. And then you're going to murder a child.
They can have you for the price of a drink.
They can have you for the price of drinks. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, that's great. Then you complain about the men because you find them in a bar. Really?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anywho.
All right. Anyway, God bless. You can have the end.
All I want to say is, You need to vote your conscience.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you don't know what if you don't know what your conscience says. It lies with Christ. Yeah. And so, do a deep dive into what you think Jesus would do.
Anyway,
and go from there.
Everybody, God bless.
Bye bye.
Even you Democrats. All right.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.